Okay, good evening and you're welcome to this video. And in this episode of this video, I'm going to show you how to use Git to work as a team. So how to use Git in a team using Git and GitHub. So the same principle can be applied when you're working alone on a project. Now the step I will use here reduces merge conflicts and increases development speed. So some suggestions to avoid a merge conflict. Now a merge conflict is like trying to use Git to combine the work of two developers into one, and Git cannot do it because both developers made a change on the same line of code. So Git doesn't know how to resolve that, so it will not do that automatically. So unless you have to do that manually. So and that takes time in a complex project. So some of the suggestions that I find effective is this: to merge one file at a time. So it is important that you as a developer, you have the habit to merge. If you're the one in charge in merging to the master branch, you encourage your team members to submit their work on a specific day so that it's going to be tested and you merge to the master branch. And especially if other developers need his or her work in order to do theirs, so there should be the time division multiplexing, so each person finishes his own task when he's meant to do that, so the next person can continue. Unless for a React project using code splitting, we can reduce the way a developer needs to wait for other developer to finish a job before he continues. But in any case, there is need for you to merge a verified work before you merge to the master branch, so that any person pulling from that branch will know that that is a verified code. So you make sure that an update is verified before merging to the master branch. So in this video, I'm going to use a local branch or a local repo to do the testing, but then after the testing has been verified, then I'm going to push to the master branch, and that way we don't push an error or we don't merge an error to the master branch, then trying to revert the merge. All those things can take time. So if as a developer your work depends on another person's work, let's say a developer is doing the HTML and CSS and you're to do some JavaScript part, like to add some user interactivity. So when the project manager has flagged that the other developer is done, in order for you to encourage a nice teamwork, you clone the repo using git clone and the repo link, and that will clone including the commit history and other stuff, so that when you're done with your work, you can now update it by pushing to a new branch. So for each changes to a file or a folder, upload as a new branch. So don't push to that person's branch. And that is because if there is an error, the other person's work that has been verified is still untouched. So that means you just have to revert, or if there's need for you to start again, you can just reclone that person's branch. So these are some of the suggestions that we'll use in this video. So in this video, we are just going to use a simple text file so that not to make the video too long, to create a simple blog project. Now, in a simple blog project, in the home page, let's say we have the following component using React. We have the nav, we have the hero part, then maybe we have like the section 1 and section 2 and the footer. Now the project manager wants this just to be done as fast as possible, so it's not left for just a developer. So there are two developers here. We have the dev 1 and we have the dev 2. Now the task is being splitted. The dev 1 is going to do the nav bar, the footer and the section 2. Then while the dev 2 is going to do the hero section and the section 1. So now, in order for the merging of each of these branch to be done at a time, we are going to use this logic. So let's say this project is to be done over a 5-week period. So in week 1 or a 4-week period, so in week 1 both developers are working, but the dev 1 finishes the nav bar first and pushes to the master branch. So in the master branch we have the nav bar. Then the dev 2 finishes the hero section and pushes to the hero branch, and that is being tested by one of the developers, either dev 1 or dev 2, and see that everything is working. Or it can be the project manager if he knows how to do that. Then when it has been verified that this is actually what is in the Figma design or any of such these designs, then that will be pushed, added or merged to the master branch. So in the master branch we have the nav and the hero part. Then dev 1 finishes the footer and pushes to the footer branch. Now this is being tested and merged to the master branch. So in the master branch we have the nav, the hero and the footer. Now dev 2 finishes the section 1 and pushes to the section 1 branch, and this is being tested on a local PC, and everything is working as expected. Then it's being merged to the master branch. Now why are we merging to the master branch? Because it's a master branch that will contain an error-free code that will be hosted online. So that is the need for this testing, and you see how I'm going to do that using a local branch. Then and finally the dev 1 finishes the section 2 and pushes to section 2 branch, and that is being tested. Then is now finally merged to the master branch, and we'll have a complete project in the same order as this. So we have on the home page, on the home page component, we have the structure. So we are going to have the nav bar, which is completed, the hero, the section 1, section 2 and section 3. So over like let's say a month period or less, this project is being done. Now the update master logic that we are going to use now for us not to have any error, just to get what we want. If the dev pushes to the repo, then the person in charge of the testing and merging to the master branch will pull to the test branch, then we'll update the home file, then we'll commit to the test branch. So commit to the test branch. Then after it has been committed, then we can now merge to the master branch. So we will now merge the test to the master branch, and then we'll now push the master branch to GitHub. So let's use this logic and try to do that. So what I'm going to do now is to go to my repo online. So you have to create a new repo. So I've done one with a practice and I'm going to use another one. So these are going to be team block 2. So team underscore what am I getting my underscore block 2. So this is as simple as it's going to look like. Then I'm going to push that. I'm going to create that. So by the time you create a new repo, you have this instruction, so it's good if you know them. So the next thing that I want to do now is this. I'm going to create a new file. I had that here. So inside this test block 2, I'm going to create a new folder and I'll call that dev1. So remember, is the dev1 that starts the work. So I'm going to open this in a new terminal. So I'm going to use my Sublime Text space dot to open this. So I'm going to close this. Then inside my dev1, I'm just going to have a new file. So I can use this plus here, a new file which I will call nav component completed. So I'll save this. Then I'm going to save this as nav.txt. I can save it as .jsx. So that has been saved. So if we come here, I don't think that's saved. Okay, saved. Oh yeah. Let's go to the terminal and type ls. Let's see if it's there. There's nothing there. So that means I used the wrong. So let's use this one. New file, and I'm going to just copy the same thing here. Ctrl A, Ctrl C, then close this since it didn't work. So I'm going to use nav. Let me use the text file so that we don't have an issue. So I should have that here now. Yes. So now this is done. So the next thing that we are going to do now is to push this to the master branch, because this is the first one. So this has been verified, and we'll push that. So that's our ls. We have that. So git init. So git status. So we have that now. So git space dot, then git status. You notice it is going to change now. So git commit -m added. So let's use nav completed. So now what is the URL of the repo that we want to push to? So git remote add So let's go to that point and copy it. So git remote add origin and this, so you can just copy this all at once if you don't have the strength to type, or you can just copy this. So I'll copy this. So git remote add origin, and you paste that. So that has worked. Then the next thing now is to know the branch we are. By default it is on branch master, as you can see here, but in case you just want to know, git branch. So we'll now push now to git push origin master. So it's going to ask me for my credentials. It does this in Linux. So Chile Mati, then my password, that is a personal access token, so you can't memorize that, so you just have to copy that from somewhere. So I'll paste that here and I'll hit enter. So this has worked. So if I go to my browser and refresh, you notice I'll have this and I will have just a branch. So the network is lagging. So you notice I will just have the nav text inside. So now what we want to do now is to use our test component to update this to home, and we call it as a component inside the home tab, and that should be what we'll have here. So what I want to do now is this. So let me close some of these routes. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, team block 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clone. I'm going to open a new terminal. Then I'm going to clone the master branch now, then update it and send here. So our goal here is to add a home component and call it as a component, just as I showed you earlier. So I'm going to do that. So git clone, then the URL, then the name of the folder where I want it to be saved, so I'll call it test. So if you don't put any test, it's going to clone it with the default name. So let's do this. Oh, I made this mistake again. So that is not the URL. So I'm going to go to my web browser and copy this. Okay, so we have that now. So we have our git clone, the URL, paste, then the folder that I want it to be saved, which is test, and we are going to hit enter. So it's going to clone into test, and that is done. So if I cd into test, I'll have that. So if I say git branch, I see that is on branch master. So if I want to open this in my Sublime test, I'll have sublime.this. So I'm going to have this now. So what I'm going to do here now is to create a new file, and I'll call that, I'll just call the nav component like so. Now save. So I'll just call it nav.careerx. So let's see if this will save this time around. No. Home.careerx. It should save. I made a mistake that last time. The path not found. Let's see. Yes, it did save. So we have this now. So what I'm going to do now is from my terminal, so I can close this. So from my terminal, I will now do this ls. So I have two things there. So git add space dot, so it's going to add that. Then git commit minus m, the commit minus m, added nav. So if I do that, then now, and this is the only time I'm going to push. Okay, I'm going to push to the master branch now, so it's going to update that, but I'm not going to create a new branch of test. So I'm going to say git push origin master. So that has worked. So if I come here and refresh, you're going to see that you're going to have two files now, which is the home and this. So now it's time for dev2 to work. So I'm going to do another cloning. So here we are in the test branch, so I can close this. So let's go back to this folder. So this is for dev1, so let's clone for dev2. So I'm going to open a new terminal here, git clone our URL, paste, then the name should be dev2. So it's going to clone that. Then now the next thing now is to cd into my dev2, and by the way, cd just means change directory. So if I do ls, I will have both the home and this. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to open this in my Sublime text, Sublime. Then I'm going to create a new file, because at this point, according to the guide here, at this point the dev2 wants to create the hero branch and pushes to, the hero component, and pushes to the hero branch. Then developer that is in charge of the testing will test and merge to this master branch. So let's do that. So now we have this. So I'll create a new file and call that hero component completed. So I'll save that, and I'll save it as hero.txt. So let's just use that convention. So the file extension is not an issue. What is an issue is the order. So not here, hero.txt. So if I do this now, sorry, let me rename that, .txt. So that is saved. So now the next thing I want to do now is to close this terminal, and I think I have my CD to block too. I think I should be closing this terminal so that so I have my this. So if I do my ls now, I'm going to see that I have my hero. So git branch, so there's only one branch, so git add space dot, so this is going to add, then git commit -m completed hero, then git branch hero, so git checkout hero. So if I do that now, we have, so git checkout hero will switch to branch hero. So git branch now is going to show me that I'm now on branch hero. So if I do my git status, I'm going to have everything there. So now I can now push to this new branch. So git push origin hero. So this is going to create a pull request. Git push origin hero. So that has worked. So if I go to here, so it's already there. So if I refresh this now and I come here, I'm going to notice that I have two branches here, which is the master and the hero. So the next thing that I want to do now is to close this terminal, then we'll go back to our team block, to our test now. Let's open that terminal, and we are going to pull to this branch. So to pull means to just update to, so I'll pull from the hero branch and it will update it here. Then I'm going to update the home component and I'll push to the master branch. So if I do git status here, you notice everything is still clean. So git pull, then the branch name which I want to pull from is hero. So if I do that, okay, I need to specify git pull origin hero. I think that should work. So that has worked. So if I do my ls now, you notice I'm going to have my hero text here. So git status, everything is clean. So what I'm now going to do now is to open this in my Sublime test. So I'm going to close this so that I don't have it multiple open. So sub, so inside this my test folder, inside my home component now, because I now have the hero, this I can now add the hero part, hero, this, and save. So that has been added. So I can close this now and close this. Then next I will now do my git status, you notice that there's a change to the home component, so I have to add that. So git add space dot. Now, just like I explained earlier, we are using this test here to test it in our local development environment. So if this was as it is a React project, I'm going to do my npm run dev and make sure I test all the functionalities, make sure the design, everything is working before I'll do my final pushing, which is what I want to do now. So git commit -m added hero. So at this point now, I want to merge. So if I do my git branch, you notice I will have two branches there, which is so notice this is still my master branch. So I've tested this and everything is working. So if I like, I can have, so by doing this we have avoided the merge branch, but that's okay. In next phase I'm going to show you how that works. So what is left now? Git, because we can't revert that, it will just take our time. So git status, notice everything is clean now. So git push origin master. So this is our test branch. Yes, git push origin master. So that has worked. So if we go back now and refresh in our master branch, we are going to have the hero, the home, and this. And if we open the home, you're going to see that you actually have two files inside there, which is the nav and the hero that we just created. That's nice. So the next thing that we want to do now, so while we are here, let's create a new branch. So git branch, then checkout, no, I think it's git checkout -b, then test. So this is just a way to create a new branch and switch to it automatically instead of doing git branch test and git checkout test. So let's do that. So if I do my git branch now, I will see that I'm in my test branch. So I'm going to use this to show you how to merge the test branch with the master branch, then before we push online. So now the next phase now, according to our guide here, is the dev1 will now push the footer. So we'll close this. So close this terminal. So close this terminal and move to here. So the dev1 will now do the footer. So open in terminal. I think that is where we are now. So the dev1. So we are done with dev1 and dev2. So dev1 is going to do the footer and push that. So this is going to be Sublime space dot. So with this now, I'm just going to create a new file and call this footer component completed. So if I save this, I'll call this footer.jsx. So it's going to show me this, but that's okay. So next I have two files here now. So I'm going to push to the footer branch. So git branch. So you see that I just have my master here. So git check out -b footer. So git status. See that I have that footer stuff. So git add space dot git commit -m completed footer. Then git push origin footer. So that is going to push this now to the footer branch. So let's test that out. So we should be having a pull request. So if I do this, I will have my footer here. So my footer is showing added hero. I think it has not finished updating. So the next thing that we want to do now is this. I think we made a mistake here. So the next thing I want to do now is to go to the test branch and pull that and make the update. So let's go back. So in our test branch, I'm going to put git. So if I do my ls, I'm going to say that I have the hero, the home, and now, but I don't have the footer, which has been completed by the dev one now. So if I do my git status, you notice everything is still clean. So git pull origin footer. So this is going to pull from the remote repository to this point. So it's going to ask me for this. Now you have divergent branches and need to specify how to reconcile. So I'm going to choose this first one, because actually what I want to do with this git pull is to update what I have in the footer branch with what I have in this test branch. So it's a merge when I want to put. So I'm going to type that. So git config pull dot rebase force. So git config pull dot rebase force. So that is going to merge, which is what I want. So let's type that again. Git pull origin footer. So that has worked. So now to exit out of this, you just hold your Ctrl and your X key. So that has worked. So now if I use my ls, you notice that I now have the footer here. So now if you notice, this is on git status, we are on git branch, rather we are on branch test. So now the same thing, I need to merge this test branch now with this. So before I do that, I need to rearrange the home component in my text file. So I need to do my sublime again dot this. So here is actually where I'm doing the testing. So to my home now I have my footer. So I'll come here and I'll add footer this like this. So if I save this, so I can close this now, close this. Then what I have to do now is to make sure I commit this before I can merge to my master branch. So git add space dot, then git commit minus m added footer. So now the next thing is now to merge. So git merge minus m added so I'm going to put added footer to home. So I'm going to hit this no remote for current branch.
Sorry, go first.